Making it loud. Let's raise the game, not afraid. Don't raise the game. We're not afraid to power up. We're not afraid to raise the game. We're not afraid to power up. We're not
Hey, one of the other ways we want to partner with you is bringing you into the conversation about our missions project. And so I'd love to invite Dave and Kim Hatfield to the stage. Hey guys, have a seat. Let's chat for a second. Guys, this couple is amazing. They are our missions partners for this week. Your kids know them well. They get to hear from them every single day. And we are walking your kids through a journey, not just of what it looks like to come to kids camp or to learn from God's word, but also, like we're talking about with Power Up, to do something about it. And so we've picked you guys as a missions partner. We've been kind of telling a story throughout the week. And that story kind of surrounds a little girl named Miriam. And I think we have a picture of Miriam, and I'd love to put it up. Do we have that picture of, there she is. That's Miriam and her mom, and we've been getting to meet her. And that's kind of where your story begins, is kind of intersecting with Miriam, kids like her. But guys, tell us a little bit, let's go back to the beginning. You guys were normal Cornerstone folks. You came on the weekends, you left, you had a normal job. But tell us what happened.
Sure, yeah. And good evening, everybody. I was a stockbroker and got invited to go on a mission trip. I was a new believer, only maybe a Christian for 2 years. And I got invited to go on a mission trip with Cornerstone to Kenya. And so I thought it would be a good idea to take our son with us. And so our 13-year-old son came, and it was just mind-blowing. I'd never experienced anything like it, and so maybe we can take a look, and I'll show you what our neighborhood's like.
Look at some pictures of the neighborhood they went and discovered for the first time. There's your wife. And so you visited a dump.
Yes. This is in Nakuru, Kenya. There's about 2,000 people that live in this particular spot, a lot of kids, and about another 13,000 that live in the surrounding area. But it was just so foreign to me to just see poverty like that. I'd never really seen it here in the U.S. or experienced anything like that. And what I learned was that the children that grow up at the dump site, eventually they reach a day when they leave because they think life's better on the street. And there's a big hazard when they go on the street. And I think our next slide might show that.
Yeah, let's check that out. We have that slide.
A lot of the kids that go on the street get addicted to glue. And so it causes a lot of different problems for them. It's really hard to rehabilitate the kids.
I can imagine.
Once they come off of that. And so my son and I were on this 2-week trip, and I was so impacted, and I came back to the U.S., and I couldn't explain it to my wife and our 10-year-old son. And I said, so hey, we all have to go. And so
we all as in your family. And how old were your boys at the time?
10 and 13.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
Okay.
And we went back.
Okay.
And this brave, incredible mom took her children 13,000 miles to this dump site. Yeah.
And then was that just for a short stay?
Yeah, we went for, how long did we go that time?
It was for a month.
Yeah, short stay of a month.
Short stay of a month. Let's go for a month, right? And then what happened?
Sure, and one of the things that really stuck out was we went to church. We had our kids ready to go to church one day, and I think there's the next slide that shows our son getting ready for church.
With Jimmy, right?
With Jimmy. Yep, and Jimmy was a street boy, one of those children that's addicted to glue. And I just looked at that image, and as a dad, I was just thinking, this is somebody's son. Yeah. And God really began to speak to our hearts and told us that there was something that we needed to do. And it just seems so weird because I didn't go to seminary. I didn't grow up in a Christian home. I was a new Christian. I'd gone on this thing, and God was sending such a specific call to us to do something. And we decided to do it. We decided to say yes.
And you said yes to what?
We started a school.
You moved your family there. You sold everything.
We're a little bit out of order.
Sorry.
No, but in the meantime, God said, hey, there's something we can do for these kids that
Yeah.
are hanging out at the dump all day because they were just too young to be in public school. And so we started a preschool with 18 kids. And you can see what our first classroom
school
looks like there. It's humble. It was about a 5-minute walk, but it wasn't the dump site. And it gave an optimism to the community for them to finally see their little kids, their little sons. I mean, as you look at your son or daughter right now, and you look, and instead of spending your days in that prior environment, you're going to school. And this was 5 years ago. God's done the most amazing thing. Now, instead of 18 kids, we have 180 kids in school.
I think we have a picture of the school now, right?
This is what that very same classroom looks like today. That's a first grade classroom. And we've been asking God, what does he want us to do? And he says, I want you to continue. I want you to keep saying yes to that next step with Jesus, which I know is a theme here at Cornerstone. And if we say yes, and if we're able to do this, in the next 5 years, we'll have 320 students in school. We will provide 1.5 million education hours, serve 800,000 meals, treat 15,000 medical patients, serve 122,000 kids camp days.
So that's the goal.
That's the trajectory that he's telling us to say yes. And right now, I feel like we're sitting with that preschool with 18 kids looking around going, wow, how is this going to happen?
So this is a story we've been inviting your kids into, and we've been helping them understand that there are kids just like them. And then we got to talking about how there's parents just like, I'm a parent. I have 2 of my kids here as part of our elementary program. And we got to talking, I got to start to think like, I'm a parent just like parents are there. And I have fears and concerns and desires for what I want my kids to be able to have. And then I took it a step further and I just thought, man, what if that desire for them to have literally was food, protection, safety? And you guys have stepped into this. And so, gosh, as a parent, Kim, that's what you work a lot with the moms over there. And you help them get skills, life skills, but you experience this desire they have for providing for their kids.
Yeah. And just like Dave said, we don't have any training in being missionaries. We weren't part of a sending organization where we had all of this, intensive language and cultural prep. We just grabbed tight onto God's hand and trusted that this is what he wanted us to do, and we went and did it. And so really we learned in the very beginning that God called us to just come alongside these people. We used to say to each other, it's just a come alongside ministry, an encouragement ministry. We didn't intend to go and build anything. We just went over to love. And as we listened to God, next step, your clapping is all a clap of credit to God and what he's doing when we say yes. And so, God really gave this vision to Dave. People have asked me, well, Kim, what do you do? I'm a mom. I'm now a grandma. So my job is to continue encouraging and to continue loving. And I look out here at all of you moms and dads and grandparents and caretakers of kids, and I just say, keep trusting in God. I love the verse that the kids had today that, God sent Jesus to save us. And out of that love and that goodness of God that he is and that he puts into our hearts, we pour that forth into other people. And so it's a blessing to be able to share with you what God's doing over in Kenya. And I just encourage each of you as you hear the story tonight, as you hear what your kids come home and share with you about what they're learning, that you would just listen for God's voice to see, does he have anything for you in this?
Yeah, Ryan, an interesting thing happens when a young child, who the world looks at as the least of these, truly, when you saw those pictures, I mean, that is the least of these are in a dump site, right? An interesting thing happens when you bring them into a school environment, when you bring them in with loving teachers, loving Christian teachers that begin to teach them the word and teach them about this Jesus who loves them. And their identity changes. Who they believe they are changes. And it changes into becoming royalty, becoming part of God's family, becoming princes and princesses of the Lord Most High. And it's absolutely incredible to see the transformation in these kids. And I know that going forward, some of them are going to be the most incredible disciples, because they're going to understand that the only reason that they aren't scavenging in that dump site their whole life is because God sent people to come alongside and help their moms and their dads in their community to make a difference.
And so this week we've been kind of unashamedly asking your kids to support the ministry that is going on in Nakuru. And for your kids, that's looked like bringing money in every day to raise money to expand the school's reach, to create space. And we're going to continue doing that. And so when your kids come home and say, hey, can I have some money because it's an offer, make them work for it. But know that we're doing that to give you a chance to have a conversation with your kid about what it looks like to power up. But then tonight we didn't want to move on without also talking about the role that sponsorship has. And we know that as a church, we just a few weeks ago had a sponsorship weekend. And we talked about this, and this is another ministry partner who we connect with and we partner with that has sponsorship opportunities. And I love just briefly, if we could talk about this just for maybe a minute or so, the relationship, not just the financial, but the financial connected with the relationship.
Sure. We tend to think of a sponsorship as, it's the $33 a month that we send because it provides uniforms and shoes and food and teachers and all of these things. It provides this physical provision. And I know why we feel that way. It's because we're parents. Yeah. And we parents are providers. We're moms and dads, and we think this, I look at these kids and they need these things. But there's a really unique thing, and we designed our child sponsorship program from 2 points of view. One, the donor, and the other is the recipient, is the child themselves. And the thing about a child sponsorship program is that the kid, they don't know that you bought them a uniform. They just know that they're going to school and being like all the kids around them. But it's that connection. It's that letter that gets sent once or twice a year, whatever it is. But it shows them that they have value and someone here cares about them. I'll never fully understand how deep the love is that they feel from that. But I can tell you that now adult sponsorship recipients who actually run our school there, they still have the letters from when they were kids.
Wow.
Yeah, it means more than we could ever believe.
And I know we had several conversations that we won't unpack here, but of people and kids who you've just unpacked in more detail the meaning these letters have. And so we actually had our kids write letters this morning. And so all the kids at your school are going to get letters from your kids. That is going to be awesome. And I think that is really, really cool. But I would love to challenge you. As you have conversations about, bringing something in to support our project this week, maybe you want to think about, and we know we just talked about it, but maybe this is the moment as you as a family talk about what it looks like to partner with somebody in Nakuru who are part of an organization that someone from Cornerstone started. And I think it'd be really, really an impactful thing for a family to do.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is an incredible opportunity, by the way, for my wife and I to be in front of an audience as large as that Cornerstone. And particularly one that has such a heart to help kids. And so I know that we have a number of children that don't have any sponsors at all. We have over 100 kids now that don't have any sponsor. And I know that we could take care of meeting that need right here from the Cornerstone family.
So here's what we want you to do. If this is something you want to explore more, there's two ways you can do it. You can stop by, talk to you guys out. You have a table out in the courtyard. But you can also, we'll throw that slide up, you can visit their website, which is hiltonsheroes.org. You can read more about the organization. You guys unpack a lot there on your website.
That is my cell phone number.
Okay,
that's one thing. You can call me. I'm accessible.
Someone's going to try it right now. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. And it's just been a joy to partner with you guys. And I look forward to the next 2 days as we continue. And I look forward to partnering in the future as well. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
We could ever need to love the world around us, to be a light in darkness. He's with us every breath, he's with us every step, so we can leave fear in the dust behind us. If you wanna raise the game, he will give you strength.